Okay, I'm good to go.
Okay.
My
so
tip.
I was reading.
Go
Oh,
ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. Okay, I was reading over the email that you forwarded along to me that was talking about Charlie's Manifesto being immortal, and then the Sons of August, the outbreak of World War III. And so I kind of summarized both of those up into like 2 paragraphs or so to add for the chat that they can talk about tomorrow when they re-air it. So I can kind of be like the update about what's new going on in your life. I wasn't able to watch the video you sent me. I think you need an account in order to view that, so I couldn't see the one on stem cells that you sent. But I didn't know if there was additional information that you wanted me to write down. That way they could also talk about that, or what else you had.
Well, I've really watched all 18 hours of it, and I've become
Of the video?
of the videos,
Because that was part of a 9-part series?
and each part was 2 hours.
Oh, wow, okay.
And
How can you view that if you don't have an account? Is there another way to access it?
well, over the weekend you could watch all 9 for free, and maybe I didn't send you that link.
Oh, okay.
And now that's down. I've ordered the whole package, which hasn't arrived yet.
Oh, wow.
But you can. I'm making little notes here, and I can send you. It's extraordinary series, and I can send you a couple links of things that are on YouTube now.
Oh, that'd be awesome if you could. Thank you.
But let me just talk a little bit about why this is such a big deal,
Yeah, of course. Go ahead.
and see if I can summarize it shortly in my own words.
Okay.
Are you taking notes?
Yes.
Good. However you do it is fine with me.
Okay, yeah, I'm just writing them out, so if I ask you to repeat or pause, it's just because of that.
No problem at all.
Okay.
And I'll give you a little summary here.
Okay, thank you.
I spent my life, 50, 60 years now, doing pharmaceutical sales training.
Okay.
And I thought I was doing the Lord's work by helping people with medications that could make their lives better.
Yes.
When I got into that hospital, I realized that the pharmaceutical medications I could take kept me alive in some cases, reduced the pain and suffering, quelled the signs and symptoms, but did nothing to keep me well.
Okay.
Nothing. The only way I could get well was with my body healing itself, and the way I did it primarily was figuring out a whole array of a dozen lifestyle changes that would decrease the damage and enhance the healing ability of the body.
And what were some of those changes?
There are 12 categories,
Okay.
and you can think of them around a clock metaphor, 1 to 12 o'clock.
Okay.
1 o'clock, you really have to be learning and earning and working all the time.
Okay.
2, you have to be playing and partying and enjoying yourself.
Okay.
3, you have to be thinking and loving and emotionally engaged with life and not just sitting there.
Okay.
4, you need to exercise, stretch and strengthen and move. If you don't, the body doesn't get the stimulus to heal itself.
Okay.
5 o'clock, you have to sleep really well and regroup every night. And if you can't get a good night's sleep, you are a fraction of your chance of healing. 6 o'clock is nutrition, all your dieting. Doctors say, try diet and exercise, and if that doesn't work, call me and we'll cut you open or we'll give you a chemotherapy or something. But the diet includes, and no one has a clue about how to, quote, eat healthy. Eating healthy is a total science, and it's been corrupted by the by the agriculture business and the pharmaceutical business. I finally learned how to eat healthy, and you wouldn't believe it, but you eat 60% good fats, 30% proteins, and only 10% carbohydrates.
Okay.
And and you take a lot of supplements. It's hard to know which ones to take, but the supplements I've taken have cured my macular degeneration. I've lost my glasses and I can see 20/20.
Wow, just from taking supplements?
And all these, it's not just one thing.
Okay.
But
the whole combination of
the
it.
whole combination. And then you have to...
Wow, that's amazing.
And then the whole speaking, swallowing, seeing, take interventions. I couldn't speak for months. Now I'm singing. I can sing a little song for you. Come fly with me, come fly, let's fly away. If you could use some magic juice, there's a bar in Panama.
You can now. Wow, I'm impressed.
And then you have to deal with all the pain and the skin and how you look and feel. And I'm now still suffering in pain from my neuropathy in my feet and from my urethral tear from the hospital and from my joint dysfunction, but I'm way, way better just with my lifestyle changes. At 9 o'clock, you have to really work on all your organs, your heart, your lungs, your plumbing, you name it. And you have to deal with money too, because everything costs money. It's one of the things that you have to manage. And then 11 o'clock is technology and tools, and I've become a real user of my iPhone, my iPad, my iMac,
That's great.
My Twitter, my Facebook, my LinkedIn, my Google, you name it, my Amazon, and all these things augment what I can do. And 12 o'clock, you have to really think about planning and a vision and a destiny for your whole life. So those are what I addressed when I realized that the pharmaceutical weren't working. But then in June, after the Chronicle on June 14th, I realized by going out to Reading, Massachusetts, to something called the Hope Connection. And there they have a hyperbaric oxygen therapy tank. And I did three dives in that hyperbaric oxygen therapy tank for an hour each at 1.5 barometric pressure and 100% oxygen, and it helped me.
Wow.
But more than helping me, I found there was another person there doing a dive who was 38, who was head of the Boston office for J.P. Morgan, a guy named Derek Popp, and his father, Arnie Popp. And Derek had West Nile virus 12 years ago and got a hemorrhagic and ischemic stroke and hadn't been able to talk or make any noise for 11 months or move. And he got stem cell therapy in Florida from his own adipose tissues.
Wow, and did it help him?
And he began talking, making noises.
That's crazy.
And now he's on a parallel bar, beginning to move.
Okay, wow, good for him.
And it was that meeting of Arnie and Derek Popp that got me spending the last 2 months doing a deep dive into stem cells.
Okay.
And I realized that stem cells revolution is like the antibiotic revolution with penicillin, or the polio vaccine in *53, or like three-dimensional imaging with fMRIs. That the stem cell revolution, which was a embryonic stem cell thing 20 years ago, which was thought to be a breakthrough, and then the Catholic Church banned it, and then George W. Bush banned it, and then Barack Obama took the ban off, and California put $3 billion behind it. All that controversy, after 10 years in 2008, it turned out still to be a bad idea with all that controversy and all that money.
Oh, wow.
Because the stem cells from embryonic stem cells lead to cancer.
Okay.
Then they found that bone marrow had stem cells and was very good for rebuilding the immune system. But
Okay.
more
The immune system?
the immune system
Okay.
with bone marrow. Then they found out that adipose tissue, your own fat tissue all over the body, had these so-called mesenchymal stem cells that could repair the body by regeneration, by anti-inflammation, by controlling immunomodulation. And those stem cells for young people really work well.
Okay.
But for an old guy like me at 82, my stem cells are not only old and dysfunctional, but they're deficient. When I was born, I had one stem cell to take care of 10,000. Now I think I have about one for 10 million.
Okay.
They're very scarce, and the only repair system that the body has are these stem cells. But in Panama, against the laws of the United States, they've discovered that if you use the afterbirth from after the embryo, after birth, that the placenta, the amniotic tissue, the human umbilical cord, you can harvest stem cells that are from another person, cull them to get the most powerful, and you get the youngest possible ones that have the most power for regeneration, the most power for immunomodulation and anti-inflammation. And that's why I'm going to Panama to get 120 million of these suckers that are going to fix my broad spectrum afflictions.
And is that only legal in Panama, or are there other places you can get that as well?
You maybe get it into Japan.
Okay. But it's illegal in the U.S.?
But it's illegal because the FDA has only approved adipose tissues from your own body, re-administered the same day with no manipulation.
Okay.
These are very beneficial. It's a good start, and they are curing dozens of conditions with great success in those videos.
That's crazy. And did you research this for a while before you decided you want to do it?
Well, I've researched it nonstop for 2 months. I know I can answer almost any question you can pop to me, whether it's political, economic, theoretical, scientific, technological, personal. I have an initial take on all that.
Okay.
So
And how
so you ask questions.
How quickly after you're getting 120 million and they're from a different person, and how long before you start seeing results from that? Like, how long does it take to start helping?
It can start the day after. It's most likely going to start in the first 3 weeks, or probably the peak is going to be in 3 months, and and the changes will last up to 6 months. After that, the body will remove those stem cells, and you'll get some benefit over a 6-month period.
Okay, so is that something you would do multiple times then, or only get done once?
One example of a person who's done it multiple times that you can find out about, who went to Panama, that's on YouTube, is Mel Gibson's father.
Oh, okay. Look at that.
Go to YouTube, put in Mel Gibson and Panama, and you'll see a couple of videos. Mel Gibson had his father at age 92, 10 years older than me, at the Mayo Clinic with heart failure, with kidney failure, slumped over in his chair, and the Mayo Clinic said, "It's over, there's nothing more that we can do." Mel heard about Panama, checked it out, decided to send his father down there.
Wow.
He's now had 4 treatments over 8 years.
Okay.